Well, Oilers fans, the Oilers are on the brink. It looks very likely that the Florida Panthers are about to win their first Stanley Cup in franchise history. They defeat the Oilers 4-3 at Rogers Place in Game 3 to take a commanding 3-0 series lead. Only one team has ever come back from an 0-3 deficit, and that was the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I want to say 1942. I know it was in the 40s. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm kind of brain farting on the actual statistic. Not that it matters. The Oilers obviously probably deserve better tonight, but Sergei Bobrovsky, I just want to say, Panthers fans that are tuning in right now, holy smokes, man. Sergei Bobrovsky, you know what he reminds me of at the moment? He reminds me of Tim Thomas in 2011 with the Boston Bruins. Just when you think you've gotten him solved, you know, the Oilers, when they made it 4-3, and then that next shift from McDavid, Draisaitl, and McLeod, and McLeod has that beautiful chance in the crease area, and then Bobrovsky still finds a way to make a save. His saves on the Oilers' power plays tonight. Oilers went 0 for 3 on the power play. It took too long for Edmonton to figure out how to solve Bobrovsky. They got a lucky goal off Mikola's elbow. They got a tip in from Ryan McLeod. Warren Foegele scored on a breakaway. But for the most part, the Panthers are not giving the Oilers anything. They deserve to be up 3-0 in this series. But I will say, the biggest change in this game, the switch was in the second period. After the Oilers made it 1-1, the Oilers had all this momentum. They had all the pressure. They kept pushing and pushing. They had chances and chances. Bobrovsky, save after save. The puck finally goes into the Oilers' end. Skinner comes out of his net. He hasn't faced any kind of shots at this point. He comes out of his net to play it. He misplays it. He bobbles it. Puck comes out in front. There's a wide open net, and that absolutely was the difference maker when it comes to momentum killing the Edmonton Oilers. The Florida Panthers had, I think, a minute total, 60 seconds total of offensive zone time in that second period, and they scored 3 goals because the Oilers defensively and Stuart Skinner completely collapsed. They completely collapsed. Darnell Nurse with one of the worst giveaways I've ever seen in my entire life that led to a goal, and then Stuart Skinner's giveaway behind the net for the second goal for Florida. It's not good enough, obviously, and you want more, but at the end of the day, the Oilers' top guns, McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, and Nugent Hopkins, your top 4 forwards, have a combined 0 goals in this series. They have 0 power play goals. Bouchard has basically been held off the score sheet, I think, the entire series as well. The Oilers' top scorers have not been producing. Today, they got depth scoring. Philip Broberg with his second of the playoffs. Ryan McLeod scored. Warren Foegele scored. So, you know, we always talk about, man, depth scoring. The Oilers need some depth scoring. Oh, they got some depth scoring tonight, but it didn't matter because Sergei Bobrovsky, he was better. In Florida, they're up 3-0, and the Stanley Cup, it's going to be in the building on Saturday. Now, listen, I know Oilers fans. Now, I'm going to talk to Oilers fans here. Panthers fans, of course, you're very happy. I'm expecting Panthers fans to just go into the comment section immediately and be like, haha, sweep incoming, blah, blah, blah. I totally get it, and you deserve to do that, so I'm not going to stop you. For Oilers fans, it sucks right now, right? It feels terrible. You're probably pretty down. You're not feeling good about this. You know, the first time we're finally in a Stanley Cup Final since 2006. First one since 2006. And the Oilers are on the verge of being swept. This really reminds me of 2022 against Colorado Avalanche in the Western Conference Finals. I remember how excited we all were that the Oilers finally made it to a Western Conference Final. And then they got swept. And it just didn't feel good. You're just kind of sitting there. There's no excitement to it. There's no, you know, the Oilers pushed back. I think the Oilers played good enough to win in Game 1, and they definitely played well enough to win in Game 3. But sometimes it's not your time. You know, sometimes it's not your time. Wayne Gretzky and the Edmonton Oilers in 1983, they got swept by the New York Islanders in 1983 in the Stanley Cup Final. And then the Oilers the next year in 1984, they won 4-1 against the Islanders, I think. Maybe it was a sweep. I can't remember. I think it was in 5 games. Again, someone will be able to correct me. You know, the Florida Panthers last year, they got absolutely destroyed by the Vegas Golden Knights. And Florida last year, just like Edmonton this year, dealt with a lot of injuries. The Florida Panthers last year, a lot of their top guns were very injured. They just ran out of gas in the Stanley Cup Finals. And I think right now for the Edmonton Oilers, that's what's happening. They've just run out of gas. They're just not able to get over that final hump to, you know, find a way to win the Stanley Cup. And I'm not saying that the series is over because technically it's not. Florida has to win that 4th game. That is the toughest game to win, but the series is in their hands. It is their series to lose. The Oilers, at least on Saturday, they can go out, they can play loose, they can play their game. Obviously, you say they have a lot to lose because if they lose on home ice on Saturday, well, guess what? Florida's skating around their barn holding the Stanley Cup above their head. However, I know as Oilers fans, we're going to be back. This team will be back as long as they make a good general manager hire this summer. I don't even want to talk about that yet, though, because until it happens, I'm just, preparing for the possibility. I know we don't want to hear it. This is the realistic nature in me coming out. This is just how realistic I am. And I will say, everyone that's been tuning into the live streams as well, the live stream tonight was unbelievable. Panthers fans were great. Of course, there's some trash talking. I accept that. Oilers fans as well. I get it. We're feeling upset. At the end of the day, though, the Oilers made the Stanley Cup Finals. They made it. They got here. I cried on stream when the Oilers made it, and now that's going to look pretty silly to me considering Edmonton is on the verge of being swept. Would it have been nice if the Oilers could have made a series out of it? Of course, but sometimes you just run up against a really good goaltender and a team that just does not give you anything in the neutral zone, and they suffocate you in the offensive zone, and they suffocate you in the defensive zone. The Florida Panthers are so good, man. And before anyone starts to talk about the officiating, no, I refuse to acknowledge it. The officials are not on the Oilers side. They're not on the Panthers side. The power plays tonight were 3-1 for Edmonton. The non-calls were good non-calls. There was one play in the second period, I believe. Leon Draisaitl looked like he got tripped, and I was super mad. I was like, I cannot believe they didn't call that. They showed the replay, and guess what? Draisaitl, he toe-picked. He didn't actually get tripped. And, it's moments like that where I'm like, wow, I give the officials credit to be able to see that and call that in real time. Of course, there's a lot of rough stuff after whistles. You'd like to see a little bit more from some players. I thought McDavid had 2 assists tonight. He tried to lead that charge in the third period. But we'll kind of quickly go over the goal scoring. So in the first, you had Reinhart score an absolute ball breaker of a goal after a first period that I thought Edmonton played pretty well in. It was 4-on-4. The Oilers just kind of missed some coverage. Reinhart, nice deflection from a shot from Forsling, made it 1-0. And then in the second period, Warren Fogle early, he gets a breakaway, makes it 1-1. The crowd electric goes nuts. The Oilers pressure for the next 6-7 minutes, but then Tarasenko, like I said, he's all alone in front after a mistake from Stuart Skinner, makes it 2-1. And then Sam Bennett, just 4.5 minutes later, he makes it 3-1. And then Barkov makes it 4-1 just a minute and a half after that. And that was pretty much game. 4-1 in the third period. I was telling chat, it's good to hold on to hope. The Oilers made a game of it. They did not go down without a fight, and that's good to see. At the end of the day, though, sometimes a team is just destined to win. Sometimes a team just, I don't know how to word it. The Oilers deserve to be in the Stanley Cup Finals, but the Florida Panthers deserve the Stanley Cup. And, a team that deserves to be in the finals doesn't mean that they deserve the cup. But, the Edmonton Oilers, they're the second best team in the NHL this year. And the Florida Panthers, all year, regular season, and then playoffs. Listen, Florida, they absolutely murdered the Tampa Bay Lightning. They murdered the Boston Bruins, and they murdered the New York Rangers. And you might say, oh, well, it was 6 games against Boston, 6 games against New York. Listen, they pretty much dominated all those games. The only games that were won by Boston and New York was, goaltenders that stole them games. Stuart Skinner, he is unable to steal games. And Oilers fans are going to be upset at Skinner. And I think this summer, there's going to be a lot of Oilers fans that, rightfully are going to want an upgrade in net. I say we keep Skinner, though. I think Skinner's good to have on the team. He can be a good 1B or a 1A. I get someone that can share the crease with him. But again, as someone that has defended Stuart Skinner all year, I've made videos about Skinner specifically being like, listen, he can get the job done. This is a very unfortunate situation where his mistake in the second period did cost the team the game, in my opinion. Now, of course, there's a lot more that happened throughout the game. It's not just on Stuart Skinner, but, the Oilers' top guns, like I said, their top forwards, they have 0 goals this series, and that's a credit to the Florida Panthers. So before I continue to just ramble about everything that we do know, I wanted to give firm handshakes. I said ham shakes on the stream too. Firm handshakes to Florida Panthers fans. You're on the verge of winning the first Stanley Cup in your franchise's history. As a hockey fan, I love witnessing NHL history. Will I be upset? Of course. Will I let it affect me too much? Absolutely not. At the end of the day, there are much bigger things to deal with in life. There are much more important things. Hockey is entertaining. It's a sport that I love. The Edmonton Oilers is a team that I absolutely adore. But I am not someone that will get, I'm not going to allow this to ruin things for me. This summer, I'm still going to go camping. I'm going to go hiking. I'm going to storm chase. I'm going to play video games. I'm going to enjoy my life. And I really, really hope for Oilers fans, ride the wave of emotions. We're down right now, and it's okay to be down. It's super okay to be down. But you know what? The series isn't over. You never know, right? Maybe there's some crazy history in the making here. Maybe the Oilers find a way to win 3 straight, force a game 7, and it goes crazy in Florida. Who knows what happens here? The NHL, it's absolutely wild. You can't predict anything. At the end of the day, though, like I said, there's a lot of important things that go on in life. Sports is just, it's entertainment to me, and I hope I'm still able to provide entertainment to you if the season does come to a close. Well, it will in the next week and a half, no matter what. We'll see if the Oilers can find a way to extend the season, but if not, it's been an absolute pleasure creating content for everyone. I have lots of plans for content this summer, so make sure you do subscribe if you want to see more content from me. I do plan on doing pretty much almost daily uploads during the summer. I'm very excited for a lot of things that I do have planned, but we'll get there when we get there. Like I mentioned, you know, I hope everyone's doing okay. Panthers fans, you deserve to be excited. You deserve to be dancing around your living rooms right now or your bedrooms or wherever you're watching this video. Oilers fans, it's okay to, not be feeling great. But, like I say at the end of my videos, tell someone that you love them. Fight like Ben, fight like a kid, right? Fight like Ben, fight like a kid. The Oilers and just, fans in general, I'm not trying to be preachy. That's not what I'm doing here. But, I always look down at this wristband, the Ben Stelter wristband, and, it just keeps me grounded, keeps me level-headed, makes me realize that at the end of the day, it's a sport. I want my team to win. Doesn't always happen. We'll see if Edmonton can find a way to create some history, though. See if they find a way to create some magic. If they don't, it's a tough lesson to learn. Teams learn this. They go through this. Crosby in 08, they lost to Detroit, came back and won in 09. Florida, they lose it last year. They come back. They're on the verge of winning this year. So we'll see what Edmonton can do. Tomorrow, I will have a full day after discussion. And then Saturday morning, pregame report. Saturday night, I will be live streaming game 4 and possibly witnessing the Florida Panthers hoist the cup or watching Edmonton find a way to extend this series. If you liked today's video, make sure you hit like. If you really liked it, make sure you hit subscribe. And as always, tell someone that you love them. I love all of you. Your support has meant the world to me. I'm excited to see what the future has in store. I'm excited to see if Edmonton can find a way to extend the series. If not, it's been a blast. So take care, everyone. We'll see you very soon, okay? I love all of you. We'll see you later.